The biggest difference between great wedge players and poor wedge players is the simple concept of understanding and controlling shot trajectory. Today we're talking about how you can do that and improve your wedge play. I'm PGA teaching professional Todd Kolb, Director of Instruction for US Golf TV and the Sanford Power Golf Academy. And hands down, the biggest mistake that amateur golfers make when it comes to wedge play is they hit their wedges too high. But the good news is we can fix that with 3 simple tips, 3 things we're going to talk about here today. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Be sure to subscribe to our channel because we are producing great content each and every week, and we love hearing from you. So be sure to also leave a comment. Maybe you agree with what I have to say, and you know what? It's okay if you disagree also. Put those comments in there as well because you might be able to teach me something. So let's dive right into this. How are we going to improve our wedge play? We're going to improve it by bringing the trajectory of the shot down. 3 ways we can do that. Tip number 1, club selection. This probably seems almost too obvious to even talk about, and you're probably thinking, Todd, why are you even talking about this? This is so basic. But I can tell you the reason I am is because I see this mistake all of the time, and it's simple. Most amateur golfers grab their most lofted club every single time they got a full wedge shot. So they grab their 58 degree, for example. They make this huge full swing at full speed. And what happens when you got a lot of loft and a lot of speed? You get a lot of height. And when you get a lot of height, it's very difficult to control the spins and the distance that you hit the golf ball. So tip number 1 is hit a few wedge shots with a less lofted club, like a 54, and just see what happens. You might be surprised when the trajectory comes down that your accuracy immediately improves. So that's tip number 1. All right, tip number 2, to help us bring that flight down a little bit, is ball position. Now, anytime I'm working on ball position, I like to use my Reimer short game trainer because that helps me understand ball position, not only on wedges, but putting and bunkers and you name it. Speaking of bunkers, we did a great video just a couple weeks ago on bunkers. Fantastic, going through the roof on views. If you're struggling with your bunkers, be sure to check that out. So ball position, where should the ball be positioned? Well, generally speaking, I like the ball, you know, kind of in the middle of my stance when I'm hitting a lower lofted club, 9 iron, 8 iron. But when I'm hitting my wedges, I like it slightly back of center. So with my Reimer here, what I do is I just position it off the eye, which means the ball just slightly back of center. I move my hands slightly in front, and by moving that ball back with a little forward shaft lean, that helps me bring that trajectory down, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So tip number 2 is ball position. Get it back slightly, move the hands slightly in front. Now, tip number 3. Tip number 3 has to do with length of swing and speed of swing. And we've already talked about this. When you increase club head speed, all things being equal, you get more height, all right? But also the length of the swing is a key component to bringing that trajectory down. So most golfers, amateur golfers, when they grab a wedge, they make the same length swing with their wedge that they do with the driver. So let's give you a picture. Let's say when they're hitting their driver, they make this full swing and their hands go all the way up, let's say on the clock, to almost the 11 or the 11:30 position. That's a full swing, right? Some even go past that. Right? Some even go past 12 o'clock, but let's say it's 11:30. When you're hitting a wedge shot, that position should be more along the lines of maybe like a 10 o'clock, all right? Kind of like a 10 o'clock position. That should be the full length swing for your wedge, because as that swing gets longer, number 1 is you're going to lose a lot of accuracy, but generally speaking, you're going to get a little bit higher ball flight. So getting that position at around that 10 o'clock is going to do wonders for you. So next time you're going to go to the golf course, here's what you're going to do. You're going to think about the club you're using. You're going to grab maybe a little less lofted club. You're going to get that ball a little bit back in the stance with a little bit of forward shaft lean, and then we're going to make a little 3/4 length swing. And what's going to happen is the trajectory is going to come down, the speed of the swing is going to come down, and most importantly, those balls are going to start finishing a little closer to the cup, and you are going to find yourself with shorter putts on the green, and you're going to be enjoying this game a little bit more.